All right, well, good afternoon and welcome to the Town of Innisfil organizational meeting of council for November the 3rd. It's 3 p.m. and we'll just call this meeting to order. And are there any additions or deletions? No? Okay, could I please have someone make a motion to adopt the agenda as presented?
Mayor Barclay, I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Councillor Russell. All in favor? Okay, carried. And we'll move into 3.1 on the deputy mayor rotation. All right. Does this list suit everybody okay? Okay. All right. If so, I'll just have someone please make a motion that we approve the recommended deputy mayor rotation. Councillor Heistad?
Your Worship, I'll make that motion to accept this deputy mayor rotation.
All right. Thank you very much. All in favor? Okay, carried. Okay, and then we'll have a motion to please go in camera so we can do our organizational meeting. Ms. Dawn. Councillor Hill.
Mayor Barclay, I will make the motion that we enter to go in camera.
Okay, all in favor? Okay, carried. Just wait for...
So following each general election, Council does appoint elected members to town-established and external boards and committees for a 2-year term. So at the October 27th inaugural meeting, Council did receive their boards and committees overview package for information which outlined each board or committee's mandate, their membership and meeting frequency, meeting schedule overview, and the committee preference sheet for members to indicate their desired appointments. So councillors have submitted their preference sheets, which were reviewed and compiled in a draft appointment schedule, taking into account their stated preferences and equitable distribution of workload and meeting frequencies. So we do have the draft list enclosed for council's consideration and confirmation.
All right, thank you, Director Vickers. So just maybe go through person to person to see if everybody is okay with these appointments. I'll start with Councillor Heistad.
Your Worship, this works for me.
Okay, perfect. Councillor Russell.
Mayor Barclay, I have no concerns.
Okay, thank you. CouncillorMcKellar.
Mayor Barclay, no concerns.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Hill.
Thank you. No, I am fully in favor of what's presented.
Perfect, thank you. Councillor Strong.
No, I don't know why. No, it's not. Oh, there we go. It's not a good start, is it, Mayor Barclay?
Quite a bad one.
No concerns.
All right, thanks. And Councillor Wing?
No, Mayor Barclay, I'm good with what is presented. Thank you.
Perfect. Then I'll just have somebody please make the recommended motion. Councillor Wing.
Mayor Barclay, I would move that Council approve the 2025 to 2027 Council Board and Committee appointments as presented.
Perfect. Thank you. All in favor? All right, carried. We'll try in camera again. Can I have a motion to go in camera, please? Again.
Motion to go in camera.
Thanks, Councillor Heistad. All in favor? Okay. Back into the report with Director Vickers.
Yes, thank you, Mayor Barkley. So we have chosen all of our appointments to the boards and committees, so we will now go through for the motions. So for the Family and Community Support Services Advisory Board, the 4 people we will be appointing are Taylor Bowser, Sherry Griffith, Angie Tierstra, and Amy Lee Walker. And for the for the Municipal Planning Commission, we are appointing Danny Rieberger and Patty Urban. To the Policing and Safe Communities Committee, we will be appointing Tim Dunbar, Sue Hadu, Joy Milne, Sarah Peppink, and Angie Tierstra. To the Subdivision and Development Appeal Board, we will be appointing Joyce Boone and Dawn Morrow. To the Community Economic Development Advisory Group, we will be appointing Dale Dunham. To the Age Friendly Community Committee, we will be appointing Ron King, Nicole Lediard, and Sarah Peppink. All of those for a 2-year term ending October 25th, 2027. And then the second motion will be that Council appoints Caroline Fine and Jurg Haynes.
York,
I'm so sorry.
York Hannes.
York Hannes to the Innisfail Municipal Library Board for a 3-year term ending October 23rd, 2028.
Okay, all right, thank you, Director Vickers. So could I please have the first motion, just confirming the appointments that Director Vickers has just read out? Councillor Hill.
Yes, Mayor Barkley, I'll confirm that all that was stated is accurate.
Okay, for a 2-year term. All right, all in favor? Carried, and then we'll have a second motion to appoint to the Innisfail Municipal Library Board. Councillor Wing?
Yes, Mayor Barkley, I'll make that motion that we appoint the 2 members noted for 3-year terms.
Okay, thank you. All in favor? Okay, carried, and then a third motion that will have a motion to please destroy the ballots. Councillor Heistad.
Mayor Barkley, a motion to destroy the ballots.
Thanks. All in favor? Okay, carried. Okay, so I'll just call for adjournment of this organizational meeting, please. Councillor Wing.
Make that motion to adjourn.
Okay, all in favor? Carried. All right, so we'll move into the regular council meeting for November the 3rd. It's 3:25, and I'd ask Councillor Strong to please read the land acknowledgement.
The town of Innisfail acknowledges that we are meeting on Treaty 7 territory, the ancestral and traditional territory of the Blackfoot Confederacy, Kainai, Pekanai, and Siksika, as well as the Tsuut'ina First Nation and Stoney Nakoda First Nation. We acknowledge that this territory is home to the Métis Nation of Alberta, Region 3 within the historical Northwest Métis homeland. We acknowledge the many First Nations, Métis, and Inuit who have lived and cared for these lands for generations. We are grateful for their traditional knowledge, keepers, and elders who are still with us today, and those who have gone before us. We make this acknowledgement as an act of reconciliation and gratitude to those whose territory we reside on.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Strong. And then we'll move into 2.1, so Deputy Mayor swearing in. So I'd ask Councillor Wing to come over and we will do that. Councillor Wing, I'll just get you to read this, please.
I, Janice Wing, do swear that I will diligently, faithfully, and to the best of my ability execute according to law the office of Deputy Mayor for the town of Innisfail, so help me God.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, moving on to 3.1, are there any additions or deletions? No, please have somebody make a motion to adopt the agenda as presented.
I'll make that motion, Mayor.
Councillor Heistad, all in favor? Carried. And then 4.1, the inaugural council meeting minutes of October the 27th. I'll just have someone make a motion to approve those. Councillor Russell?
I'll make that motion, Mayor Barclay, but also note that the
Yes.
members that were present were inaccurate, but I understand they've been
Fixed.
fixed.
Yes. Okay, all in favor? Carried. Okay, we'll move on to 5.1 with CAO Becker and the Alberta Munis Convention.
Thanks, Mayor Barclay. Hello, Council. Before you is the 2025 resolutions booklet, which will be presented to AB Munis membership next week at the convention. It's important for Council to be aware of the resolutions and have dialogue as you deemed appropriate prior to the convention, just to seek understanding of the resolutions, but also maybe chat about how the resolutions could perhaps impact Innisfil as well as the province as the resolutions are stated. The first part of the booklet outlines the resolutions and process, reference to policy, which is not attached within the booklet, but does tell you how they're utilized. Typically, resolutions based on passing will go to the AB Munis Board for consideration, and then they start to allocate the priority, how they sit within the respective priorities with other resolutions. There are timelines for the resolutions. I think it's 3 years, I believe. On the website of AB Munis, you can see some of the history of other resolutions that have been passed. For this process, Mayor Barclay, what I'm suggesting, just kind of go to each resolution just to see if there's any dialogue of council, and I'll just walk through. It was not my intent to go into the details of each resolution. So just going back down into to B1 is what I have, the very first one. Yeah, it's the removal of provincial property tax from municipal tax bill, moved and seconded by Rockmont Host and Mayor Thorpe. I'm not sure if there's any dialogue on this resolution. Maybe just a point, Mayor Barclay, and the council. As you'll see on your tax notices, that each municipality is responsible to collect provincial tax in light of the school divisions. And this one is asking, it's actually a resolution. You can see there's history that it does mix into the dialogue and interaction of council and the community. When the town is collecting the tax, we're often looked at the front line of the gatekeeper of the tax, but we're just collecting for the province for the educational side of the needs of our community. So I'll stop there if there's any questions or for clarification.
Any questions? No?
B2 is the municipal accommodation tax implementation in Alberta. I'm introduced by Airdrie, seconded by Fox Creek. Basically, if you just go down into the therefore resolved section of the resolution, it gives you a little bit of what the intent is of the resolution. Again, I'm not going to go into too far into the resolution if there's any questions or comments. I'm sure you've gone through these yourself, Council. I do know in this item there is municipalities do have a right to collect a tax through tourism. It's called the Destination Marketing Fund. You can, through bylaw, create a bylaw to establish our local establishments, motels, hotels, to collect the tax to put into a community marketing plan. This one's reminds me of it a little bit, but it's a little bit different to generate revenue to help with the community's greatest infrastructure needs. Going down to B3, extended lifespan of fire apparatus in municipalities, introduced by the town of Sexsmith, seconded by City of Brooks, and just looking to advocate to government as well as associations to extend fire apparatus life cycling of key component equipment. Based on proper maintenance, etc. So I hadn't put it over to our director at this point, but you may want to ask his opinion on this resolution.
I would like your opinion on this resolution.
Your Worship, I feel that the challenges of keeping a vehicle beyond 20 years is logistically challenging. I certainly know that the town, when I arrived, had an American La France truck, which was in really good condition, based upon its usage. However, we were challenged in maintaining it because of the availability of parts. Manufacturers come and go in respect of these units. And certainly my experience currently is a lot of the newer units aren't lasting as well as the older vehicles. So in respect to this, I can see where they're coming from for the financial burden, for sure, because these units are in excess of or coming up to $1 million per unit now. But certainly extending the life of them based upon what they do, I don't think is practical.
Thank you for that, Director Leith. Do you know, just off the top of your head, like the increase that you have seen in equipment, especially fire trucks? I understand that the cost has gone up an enormous amount.
Your Worship, yeah, certainly the unit which we bought just over 5 years ago, the Rosenbauer, cost the town around that $620,000. That unit now is in excess of $1 million. And that's for the town pumper, basically.
Yeah, okay, well, thank you.
Okay, moving on to B4, funding for sport and recreation facilities, moved by Town of Nanton, seconded by Town of Innisfil. I'm certainly asked for Mayor Barkley, Councillor Wing, Councillor Heistad to comment on previous council's resolution. It does reference Innisfil indirectly into this resolution based on some history on last year's convention. So this resolution is calling to advocate to the government to amend some of their grant programs, the ACI, Active Communities Initiative, to make municipalities eligible. So right now it's nonprofits are eligible for this funding where municipalities are not. Whereas last year, council made a resolution to do similar advocacy to the government based on YMCAs, YWCAs, and other organizations that certainly do need funding. However, municipalities are a large player in funding for recreation facilities. That resolution was struck down by the membership last year, but Nanton is trying it again, a little bit different format, but certainly asking for council if there's any comment to this resolution.
Your Worship, my question would be to you and CAO Becker. With your contacts, has there been further conversation with other towns and small cities on this resolution itself? I know this makes sense for us, coming from Innisfil. As to the not-for-profits, to me, it didn't make any sense. It's hard for a not-for-profit to do a lot of this work itself. So is there anybody else willing to jump up at the mic and support us, Mayor Barkley?
I don't know, sitting at the mid-sized towns, Mayor's Caucus, the conversation comes up a lot, and everybody's struggling with it. Communities this size, and I think it's pretty compelling when I read StatsCan reports in 2023, municipal governments in Alberta accounted for 82% of government spending on recreation and culture, compared to the government of Alberta's 18%, and then on average across the country, provincial governments average 45% of that spend. So it just shows you how much pressure is being put on municipalities like Innisfil to fund recreation. And I think last year that the resolution was quite a bit different. It was about creating a database because the information that we'd received back from Alberta municipalities, and I know CO Becker had spoken to Alberta Parks and Rec, and there has not been a database created in this province for decades on aging recreation infrastructure. And I actually had Juanita print off this report for me today, The Price of Inactivity, because I've always felt, if you could map together the recreation and how important it is in people's lives and healthcare costs, that there's certainly a correlation there. And, it's just as important for Innisfil to have good recreation as it is the major cities. And when I see, I'm getting off on a tangent now, but when I see $182 million going into the Edmonton Oilers Entertainment Sports Group and $330 million going into the Calgary Flames infrastructure projects, and yet we can't get a dollar for the the aquatic center, that's, I think we need to be able to stand up and say this is important for our community too. And so that's my,
Yeah. No, and it's good that we're talking about this now with all the new council in the chambers with us. Your worship, I guess my supplemental question would be is, at Alberta Munis, would you like us, because Councillor Wing and myself and you've been, at the table for a few years, do you want us all at the mic? I think that's, if there's some strategy there and hitting different mics in different areas in the auditorium, I think that may be helpful.
yeah, we can talk about that. I mean, it's Nathan's resolution and
Yeah.
he's the seconder, but I think it'd be much more impactful, not just Innisfail speaking at that mic, right? And I think last time it was overwhelmingly defeated, but I think it was really about the expense of creating databases in communities, smaller communities. They didn't have the resources to do that, and everybody's struggling with finances. So I would hope that this will be much more successful, and I think there's some really great information. But yeah, I think like even during the convention to let people know this is on the schedule and we would like their support, and I can't imagine anybody saying no, but
Okay, thanks, Your Worship.
but I am wrong at times. Many times.
Going on to the next resolution, B5, improving infrastructure at Alberta's community airports. Moved by Spirit River, signed by Lloyd Minister. Basically, this resolution is calling for advocacy to the government for increased airport program funding under the STIP program. As we know, I believe the Big Bend Airport or Innisfail Airport through the Red Deer County, who operates that airport, received some STIP funding for a apron, I think it was apron or runway project in 2025. Okay.
I'm sorry, Councillor Russell, go ahead.
So Mayor Barclay, when I read through these, a significant number of these are requesting additional funds to come from the province. So my only concern is if it's yes, 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 what are the real priorities for the town of Innisfail? I certainly see the one related to the pool, the rec costs. This one, not as much for the town of Innisfail. So I was looking at it under that lens, because if you go with a whole plate full of asking for money to the government, it's not going to have the impact that I think we want, rather than a few select ones that we really want to push. So that was the lens I looked at. There are some that are not monetary related, which are fine, but there were a significant number. So that was a lens when I went through it that I was kind of trying to put onto it and say, what is the most important for the town of Innisfail to request additional funds from the government?
Yeah, I think, the resolutions that come forward, they're really supposed to be very broad. So recreation, yes, it's important here, but Alberta Munis also feels it's important everywhere. Otherwise, it wouldn't be in these top resolutions. So I would say all these top resolutions are very important to the communities that are putting them forward. And I think as a colleague, we try to support other communities in their endeavors as well. And yes, I think if you go into the Alberta Munis website and you look at the resolutions, they're a gazillion miles long, and I think CEO Becker would have more insight into resolve of some of them. There has been some successes for sure, but they do go into a matrix after they're voted on at the convention, and Alberta municipalities then decides which are the highest priority, and that will be based on votes that they get.
Yeah, I would agree, Mayor Barclay, to Councillor Russell's comments. A very good point. And I believe AB Munis and RMA are both cognizant of that, and they can't just ask for everything, because we can't get everything, and where's the best focus for action. And that's really up to the board and the respective administrative policy support team that advises the board. But I think that's a good comment, but we'll see where this goes. Okay, next one. So B6, access to seniors housing programs, moved by Sterling, second by Town of Colehurst. Yeah, it's in relation to advocate to the governments to review the Affordable Housing Partnership Program to ensure supports of all sizes of communities are supported to age in place. Administratively, I don't have a lot I can add to the context of this resolution. B7, enhancing housing opportunities and affordability across Alberta. Moved by Colehurst, second by Mayerthorpe. Basically, they're asking AB Munis to advocate to the government to make changes to the policies to improve access to a diverse range of housing options and enhancing affordability. As you can see in the therefore resolved area, there's a list of areas of focus from reducing red tape, review, enhancing the new home build buyer protection act, improving the safety code system, and reevaluating the funding models. In this item, Council and Mayor Barkley and I talked about potential engagements Council may want to consider. Administration's come to you next week on potential engagements that you may want to consider coming up. One comes to mind is the Parkland Housing Authority, which should certainly tie into this area of where's the best area or shortcomings for Innisfil and region. That's what reminds me of this resolution.
Yeah, and maybe just for some more context, CO Becker on Parkland, we don't need to get too deep into it, but when the new lodge was built, the land was subdivided. The land was given to the government of Alberta, I believe, when they built it. So Innisfil was very fortunate that the government in that day decided to pay for the complete build-out of the new Autumn Grove Lodge, which was, I think, around 20 million, Director Jenkins, something like that. Anyway, that land that is now vacant is to be given back to Parkland Foundation. Bethany, of course, is the CAO of Parkland Foundation, and there's hope in the future that I think through Bethany as well and Parkland that site will continue to be built out with more seniors housing and build a campus out there eventually. And I believe that was in the Parkland report recently. So it's just a matter of waiting for some government grants to come along in that regard.
Going into, I think, less priority or less priority, I guess, is the C resolutions. I'm just going under C1, electricity distribution costs, moved by Grand Prairie, second by Drumheller. They're looking for to advocate to the government to review the distribution regulations and eliminate disparity in electricity pricing. As we know, within their own personal utilities, bills of distribution costs are quite significant. So they're just looking for an adjustment or review of the distribution regulations. C2, adoption of alternative bacterial water testing methods, moved by Village of Hines Creek, seconded by Cardston. Provide some background there, but they're looking to have AB Munis work with health authorities and municipalities to pilot or support technologies in better utilization, I guess, of technologies for water testing. Sounds like some water testing. There's a time period on getting the test, and then acting upon those tests is a concern of those more remote communities. C3, increasing funding for Alberta's libraries, moved by Stetler, second by Calgary. There has been some chats at the AB Munis level with elected officials for a number of years just on the funding for libraries. The libraries although the town or municipalities do provide funding based on their desire to do so, but the libraries are regulated through the libraries legislation, and the board runs the library here in Innisfail, and we support where we can. But it's we appoint council members, but they're really a standalone in a lot of ways. But the funding, according to this resolution, has not increased for quite some time. And we do know libraries, from my perspective, council they're the hub really of the community, and they're faced with challenges without that increased funding. Political statement made by administration, but those are my views.
No, but I think, CO Becker, like, it's a really good, you look at recreation funding and you look at this funding, we could add FCSS into the pile, and the pressure that's coming down on municipalities to make up that difference.
Definitely.
Right?
C4, rural participation on the Integration Council for refocusing Alberta's healthcare system. Moved by Sundry, seconded by Mayerthorpe. Looking for advocacy to appoint separate and dedicated general practitioner generalist as a voting member to the Health System Integration Council and within the new health board leadership structure. So quite complex resolution for consideration. And I don't have anything more to add to this one. And C5, midwifery, how do you say that word, sorry? Midwifery, sorry, thank you. As an option of care for all Albertans. So moved by the Village of Hassard and sent by Strathmore and Grand Prairie. And looking for Alberta communities to advocate to the government to develop a comprehensive midwifery strategy that focus on retention, increased access, province-wide, etc. There's a few words, council, I get stuck on, and that is one. C6, Canada Consumer Carbon Tax Program, rebates or exemptions for municipalities. Moved by City Red Deer, supported by the Town of Olds. Resolved that AB Munis advocate to the government to work with the Government of Canada to ensure municipal governments are exempt from any future replacement of the consumption-based carbon tax. So yeah, basically they're looking for surety that there's no taxes coming in the future. C7, increased eligibility and funding for the Alberta Affordability Grant for licensed child care programs. Moved by Town of Hinton, second by Town of Nanton and Sylvan Lake. So here they're looking for advocacy for increased eligibility and funding for the Alberta Affordability Grant for licensed child care to ensure better access to high quality, affordable child care in Alberta. Child care, I believe it's easy to state, Alberta, so child care is a primary means for economic development in communities. I do know the town of Pincher Creek, through their municipal council years ago, they developed a program to develop childcare, just ensure their community had access to childcare to help with their business supports in the community. So it does tie into the social, economic well-being of our communities. Again, those are my perspectives. C8, reducing barriers to post-secondary education for all Alberta students, moved by Duchess, seconded by Brooks. Looking for advocacy to provide dedicated funding for the development, implementation, and ongoing evaluation of a comprehensive pathway to post-secondary education strategy as outlined in that resolution. And that's all I have to report, Council.
All right, thank you. So we'll just have somebody please make a motion as recommended. Councillor Hill.
I am, yes, Mayor Barkley. I'll make the motion that council accepts the 2025 Alberta Municipalities Convention resolution report as information.
Great. Anybody have any further questions about anything, or all good? Okay, all in favor? Carried. All right, we'll move on to 6.1 with Director Kennedy.
Thanks, Mayor Barclay. So in front of you, the request for award for the contracts for the Napoleon South shallow utility installation. My apologies going through this. There is a couple math errors in here, so I will correct it as I go here. So a little background, Napoleon South is municipal land development project done by the town to create 62 fee simple parcels, one apartment as well as one commercial site. The project is intended to increase the supply of a variety of housing types. Development area commenced in the spring of 2025 with a lot draw back in April, and we started the infrastructure installation for water, wastewater, storm, and roads back in June. We did tender the installation of the shallow utilities, posting on APC in August, closed in September. At that time, we only had one bid received, but it was non-compliant due to not having the required documentation. Since then, this did require a change in the standard procedure for completing this type of work. The town has entered purchase contracts set to close in November and towards the end of November, having promoted the lots ready for construction this fall. Through collaboration with Fortis Alberta, our electrical distribution, as well as Stantec, our consultant, the project has been changed to a Fortis design build type of project. This provides the opportunity to use their approved contractor, Proline Power. Proline Power.
The unprecedented step of using the notwithstanding clause to strip Alberta teachers of their democratic constitutional rights.
My apologies.
Flashbacks of another time. All right, where was I? So Proline Power will complete all the installation for the shallow utilities under two contracts. One will be between the town and Fortis for the electrical components. The second will be between the town and Proline for the communications and gas components. First contract would be with Fortis as a quote. This totaled value for project costs of $408,455. Couple notes within that. That price does include an energizing and service connection refund, which would be provided to the town once the streetlights are energized and monthly billing accounts are accepted. This is standard practice with a Fortis agreement. So based on the 62 lots at $3,100, it's a total refund of $192,200. As well, this included in the quote a Fortis investment for the streetlights themselves that comes to $34.18 per streetlight, which there's 10 in total. That's the Fortis investment of $34,180. The contract number 2 would be for Proline Power. Construction value is $215,502. We estimate the engineering component of that to be about 10%. Total project cost $288. That is where we have an error in the math, so I apologize. It should be $237,052. Just a quick brief review of a budget as well as compared to our estimates and contracts, because we do have outstanding items in regards to this project. Our deep utilities, we budgeted $1,754,000. Contract with Urban is $1,828,000. Service improvements, we budgeted $1,484,000. Contract was $900,000, which we are then estimating the remaining $583 to make that total to meet our budget. still within reason. Shallow utilities, we budgeted 560. Total contract is 431. The reason I've used 431 is because I've taken the credit for the 192,200, which will come out of that total value eventually. Landscaping, we are still using the estimated number to meet our budget. So adding contingency into this, we still are within our budget of what we're anticipating the project to come in at. Work on the site is anticipated to commence by mid-November in the next couple weeks, with completion to be in December. So closely meeting our targets for our house building contracts as well. Carryover landscaping, trail construction, and paving will be completed in 2026. Financial impacts, I will hand over to Director.
Sure. So just for an overview for council, this project, again, based on our budget projections, indicate the project will be self-funded with cash flow from the land acquisition reserve to cover the initial development costs, with those dollars going back into the reserve as lots are sold. As Stephen mentioned, we continue to refine some of those costs with paving and landscaping, as well as some upgrades that'll need to happen to the Highway 54 42nd Street intersection in 2026. Currently within the development area, both the commercial and the apartment sites have been sold. So the commercial property was sold. That sale will close in October of 2026. The purchase price of $465,750, and then the apartment site also sold. That will close in May of 2026 with a purchase price of $290,750. These properties are both zoned direct control district in the land use bylaws, so the development permits for the specific developments on these sites will come to council directly. So council will oversee the development particulars of those two sites. For the balance of the property, we currently have one of the 4 townhouse properties sold. We have 2 of the 5 duplex lots under contract, 5 of the 11 R1B lots, and 2 of the 15 R2 detached lots. So we are comfortable with current sales and feel once the properties are complete, serviced, fully buildable, we'll be able to push on the marketing and the sales side a little bit harder, where we don't have unknowns as to when they can take possession. So yeah, so we'll take any questions.
Yeah, and just one clarification on the second motion, another error on my part. The contract value is for $215,502, not $246,20.
Okay, thank you, Director Kennedy. So before we get into the motions, does anybody have any questions about the actual report to council? Councillor Wing?
No, thank you, Mayor Barkley. No, I'm satisfied that my questions have been answered relative to these changes.
Councillor Strong?
No.
Okay. Councillor Hill?
No real question. Just very thankful that administration was able to close the deal on this and make it happen.
Councillor McKellar?
No, I think it was clarified by Director.
Okay, perfect. Okay, and Councillor Russell?
No, things were clarified. The math wasn't adding up for me, so I'm glad you clarified that for me. Also, I do have a question sort of related, Mayor Barkley. I'm used to saying something else, but how much is our land acquisition reserve, and what is the anticipated need to have that replenished?
Mayor Barkley through to Councillor Russell. So I don't have the exact dollar number. I do know it's over 4.5 million right now. And its sole purpose is to buy land and develop that land to get ready to sell, with the intent that all land sold goes back into that reserve as well. So this project, we are going to fund it from the land acquisition reserve to kind of start until we start getting the cash flow from the lots being sold. That cash flow then will go directly back into that land reserve for a future project of this nature.
Councillor Heistad?
Mayor Barkley, I'm happy with everything coming forward and closing the loop come December.
Okay. Just question, Director Kennedy, I know I brought this up before. The street lamps going in, it's a decorative thing, right? Like, are we just doing standard, or were we looking at something a little bit different, or?
I believe they're not going to be just the standard Cobra lights. They are going to be a black
Okay.
decorative light.
Nice, okay, I'm happy to hear that. Thanks. Okay, so we'll just go into the motions now. If I could please have someone make the first motion. Councillor Wing?
Mayor Barkley, I move that council approve the Fortis quote in the amount of $408,455.06 to be funded from the land acquisition reserve.
Okay, perfect. Any questions about the motion or anything else? I don't see any. All in favor? Carried. And then I'll have somebody please make the second motion. Councillor Russell?
Thanks, Mayor Barkley. Move that the council approve the award of the Napoleon shallow utility contract to Proline Power for $215,502 to be funded from the land acquisition reserve.
Perfect, thank you. And I just want to ask that the house sales that have happened already, the lot sales, they're fine if it goes into December a little bit, and they'll still get started this year, Director Jenkins?
So at this point, only a couple of them have indicated that they would potentially start before the end. The contracts do have some opportunity that they can construct in advance, but at this point, we're pretty confident that we'll still be able to accommodate anybody who wants to get going.
Great. Okay, thank you. Okay, so all in favor of the second motion? Okay, carried. All right, and we'll move into 7.1 with Director Vickers.
Thank you, Mayor Barkley. Well, we just had an election recently, and one of the kind of regulatory things we need to update is our bank signing authority. Section 213 sub 4 of the Municipal Government Act outlines that municipal documents and financial instruments must be signed by the chief elected official and by a designated officer or by any other people that council can designate through a council resolution. So the town of Innisfil maintains banking relationships with Service Credit Union and ATB and RBC, and each one of these institutions does require an updated resolution from council confirming who is authorized to sign on behalf of our town. Our current process is we do require 2 signatures, so 1 member of council, and that is typically the mayor, or when the mayor is unavailable, it becomes the deputy mayor, and then 1 from administration. And we do have this process to provide a clear separation of roles and help maintain sound financial control. And this is one of the items that our auditors look for every year and would report back if they found that we weren't double signing. That's a risk right there. So we do have some names that need to be updated. So we are removing 4 names from the list. And we are either confirming or adding in the updated names. So you can see here from administration, we have the CAO, Todd Becker, myself, the Director of Corporate Services, and Sherry Smith, our finance manager. And then as well as the mayor and every council here. So I'm just looking for 2 motions. The first motion approving the bank signing authorities, and then I do need a second motion authorizing the removal of the 4 outgoing names.
All right, sounds good, thank you. Just have somebody please make the first motion. Councillor McKellar.
Mayor Barkley, I'll move that council approves the following as bank account signing authorities for administration: Todd Becker, CAO, Erica Vickers, Director of Corporate Services, Sherry Smith, Finance Manager, and from Council, Mayor Jean Barkley, and Councillors Janet Wing, Jason Heistad, Donald Hill, Sean Russell, Lyle McKellar, and Christopher Strong.
Perfect, thank you. All in favor? Okay, carried. Just have someone make the second motion, please, to remove the councillors. Councillor Strong.
Thank you, Mayor Barkley. That council approves the removal of Don Harrelson, Dale Dunham, Gavin Bates, and Cindy Maceras from the list of bank account signing authorities.
Okay, thank you. All in favor? Okay, carried. All right, and we will move into 7.2 with Director Vickers.
Thank you, Mayor Barkley. So we do have before you a report that just kind of goes over our budget policy, and then actually we're asking council to set our budget deliberation days for this year. So we do have a budget policy. It's policy number 2023-008, and it was approved by previous council on October 10th, 2023. And the policy just provides a clear process for developing the operating and capital budgets, and it guides administration. It ensures decisions are aligned with council's priorities as well as the town's long-term financial stability. So now that we have a new council in place, we just want to introduce the policy and begin the process of setting those budget deliberation dates for 2026, allowing council to review priorities, funding needs, and long-term financial impacts within the structure established by the policy. So we're just going to go over some of the key elements of it. So the policy just outlines how the town prepares and manages its operating capital budgets, ensuring consistent and structural financial process that aligns decisions with council's strategic direction. Transparency and public engagement. The policy commits to open and transparent budget practices. Administration will have annual public deliberations and use other tools like surveys or open houses to provide ways for residents to give input before budget deliberations. Multi-year financial planning. So the town, through the policy, it indicates that we need to use a 3-year operating forecast and a 10-year capital plan to anticipate any short or long-term financial needs. We actually pass a 4-year outlook. So we pass 1 year and we have a 4-year outlook. So we actually go 1 year past that in here. And it needs to be a balanced budget. So what that means is you're not going to see any contingency within the budget when we present it to you. Those expenses will balance out for the revenues. Funding sources, the policy outlines how both operating and capital programs are funded. So operating budgets rely on property taxes, user fees, and grants primarily, while capital projects are supported through reserves, grants, debt, and other one-time kind of funding. Administration reviews available funding each year to ensure sustainability and responsible use of those financial resources, and you will get all that information when we go through our budget deliberation days. Capital and life cycle planning. So the policy requires careful planning and funding of the town's capital asset, including infrastructure, facilities, vehicles, and equipment. This policy works in conjunction with the town's State of Infrastructure Report and asset management programs to guide replacement priorities, identify funding needs, and support long-term sustainability. It does also indicate the kind of reporting that we are to bring back to council every year. And this policy does indicate that we have to bring quarterly financials back to council every year along with regular updates on any capital projects, things like that. You'll actually be seeing the third quarter financials next Monday before you. And then council's role, it does kind of identify that council is to provide the overall direction for the town's financial plan. And you do so by setting certain things like the strategic priorities and approving certain plans, bylaws, and policies that guide the annual process. So you guys pass all those things throughout the year, and then we are able to take those and kind of use that as your guys' guidance to input into the budget. It is your duty to review and deliberate on the draft operating capital budgets, to consider long-term financial impacts, and then approve the budget prior to the start of the fiscal year. So that kind of indicates that we don't bring an interim budget, we are to pass it this year prior to the year turning over. And then council can also review any amendments and monitors financial performance through quarterly reports. There is the odd time that we do have to bring some budget adjustments to you, and we always maintain that our contingency remains 0. So when we bring a budget adjustment, we are also bringing in where that funding needs to come from as well. So the policy does ensure that the town's budgeting is conducted in a transparent, accountable, and structured manner, consistent with the Municipal Government Act and recognized financial management best practices. So we are looking to set our budget days as well. So administration is requesting that we host budget days on the following days. So we're looking to start on Friday, November 21st at 1 to 4, so just kind of an afternoon, just kind of get into it. And then coming back Tuesday, November 25th, doing a full day 9 to 4, Wednesday the 26th, 9 to 4, and then if needed, we'd come back in on the Friday the 28th for a final session. Other dates that are available before council to look at are Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday of 18th, 19th, and 20th, 4 full days.
Well, thank you, Director Vickers. I personally like the idea of the Friday and doing the half day, and then everybody has their budget binders and can spend a fun weekend. Yeah. Or not. But I'll just go around. Does that suit everybody at the council table, that schedule for November 21, 25 and 26? Councillor Wing, Councillor Strong, Councillor Hill, everybody's good?
Yeah, Your Worship, I think I'm good.
Good?
I just,
Okay.
yeah, I think.
Okay. Okay. And then, does anybody have any questions about Director Vickers' report on process? Councillor McKellar?
Mayor Barkley through to Director Vickers. Just one of the comments that I picked up on the key elements was transparency and public engagement before the public budget deliberations. With this short a time frame, how do we see ourselves doing that?
Mayor Barkley through to Councillor McKellar. So traditionally, this will happen far earlier in the year. So next year, we plan on going to the spring registration night, so that will happen in April-ish, I think, April. We'll likely plan something either for the trade fair or some other event during the summer. We're looking to do a page on our Involve website talking about budgeting, things like that, and then we'll possibly do something at the fall registration night as well. So it won't happen now. Now we're too close to the budget, so we'll be doing that throughout 6 months next year kind of thing.
Mayor Barkley through to Director Vickers. Thank you for that.
Councillor Russell?
Mayor Barkley, just to follow up to that, did the previous council already do some consultation that will be briefed on?
So Mayor Barkley through to Councillor Russell. So a number of years ago, we did do an Ipsos survey, so that kind of did bring in a little bit. That was prior to this policy coming in. We brought the policy in 23. We did do some outlook. We went to a few fall registration nights and things like that. We did attend the spring registration night in 2025. More people were interested in the election at that time, so it did kind of fall off the wayside for the rest of the summer. And we didn't do any secondary public participation through the summer this year.
I'll just add too, for last budget, we also did a survey.
Yes,
Right.
yes, we did.
Because there was time to do that, but, yeah.
And we'll look to either do a survey or we'll focus on the Involve site. We'll do some kind of collecting of information next summer.
Councillor Russell?
So Mayor Barkley, the survey, I did notice there was only about 125 people completed the survey last time, if I remember right, when I read that document. So if we do one, is there some way that we can get that out soon and try to increase the number that are responding to it in some way?
Mayor Barkley through to Councillor Russell. We'll have to look into that and bring something back to you guys later. I'm not sure. I'll have a chat with our communication team around surveys and getting higher attendance on surveys.
Yeah, we've also done, well, post-budget, we've done budget presentations. So we had one at the library 2 years ago and 8 people came. We've gone to the senior center a couple of times, of course. Always better received. The audience is already there, but we have talked a lot about, engagement with the public, but, it's a big document to understand. And I think there's been some, communities doing some good work in that area. Sylvan Lake, for example, I think some really good work with public engagement around their budget and kind of, well, if you want this and you have to let this go, so they can kind of see how that balances out instead of, well, we want, because we can't give it all. So we'll see.
Yeah, Mayor Barkley, we've even started on our asset management page, giving someone $1,000 and having the sliding scales, telling them you have to invest in a little bit in everything to try and maintain our assets, just to kind of start putting that out there for the public. So.
Further? Do you have further?
No, that's fine. Thank you.
No, thank you for that. Councillor Heistad?
No, Mayor Barkley, these are good questions from, Councillor Russell, and making sure that we have the previous data that we have coming into our budget year. I see, just even during the election time, is just how do we retool? How do we communicate with our constituents and do a really good job with it? And I think that's where, from the numbers that we've had previously with the seniors center, but 8 individuals showing up, I think that's some of our work, as councillors in the community, and how do we best communicate that on our own as well. So thanks so much.
All right, we'll just have somebody then make the recommended motion. Councillor Hill.
Yes, Mayor Barkley, I'll move the motion that council accepts This report is information and sets budget deliberation dates to November 21st, 1 to 4, Tuesday, November 25th, 9 to 4, Wednesday, November 26th, 9 to 4, and if needed, Friday, November 28th, 9 till 4.
All right, thank you. Anything further? All in favor? Carried. Okay, and then we'll go into 7.3 with CAO Becker. I think we'll start this off.
Thanks, Mayor Barkley. Just to initiate this report, Council, as part of the Council's orientation, and anytime we can talk to you about the organization, but Senior Leadership Team, or SLT, is prepared to talk to you about their respective areas of responsibility. So yeah, it's just part of your learning, and please pose any questions at any point of this presentation. So just going down into the first slide, it demonstrates CAO's area primary responsibilities, working with the executive assistant to CAO and council, then for direct reports. We call them directors here. In 2025 budget, council approved the funding for the advancement of the Fire and Protective Services Manager, which is Gary Leith, has been moved into the position of director. He can be disruptive at times, but he is doing a fine job for us. And I'll let the director speak to his respective area. However, in seriousness, council did place within their 2022 to 25 strategic plan a strategic priority to maximize the health, safety, and well-being of residents. So that funding to build the organization out to better serve the community was important to make that adjustment to the organization. So that's why we've moved into the fourth director position. So with that, council, I'll move it over to Director Leith into the next slides.
Thank you. I'll try to be less disruptive this time. So I'll go through my slides, and then at the end, before we move on to the next department, I'll take any questions that council have to forward. So under my responsibility, I have fire services, municipal enforcement, which is our community peace officers and summer bylaw students, and emergency management. Our org chart as it sits there, we have a new fire chief, which started just on 3 weeks ago. The administrative assistant reports directly to me, and a senior community peace officer with 2 peace officers under him, with a summer bylaw student as well. Under our fire chief, we have 1 full-time assistant chief and a paid on-call or volunteer deputy fire chief. And then we have 4 crews of firefighters which are arranged under a senior officer or assistant chief. So the fire department itself, so the 2 full-time employee positions are the fire chief and assistant chief, and a full-time administrative support. That administrative support, Rhonda, is split between emergency management, fire, and the community peace officers. We currently have 32 volunteer or paid on-call fire members, so they're basically only paid as and when they attend calls or training, and certainly for any community events as well. So this is a breakdown of basically the call types that, as a fire department, we respond to. So fire, medical first response. That medical first response is broke down for life-critical incidents only, which we would categorize as Delta or Echoes, where an ambulance is more than 15 minutes away. So dispatch will coordinate that, so they're the types of calls we will go to, or if the EMS service provider requires fire assistance to maneuver patients or carry them out, we can also be sent on request. Motor vehicle accidents, rescue services, we do have a jet boat and rescue boat. We provide confined space, high angle rescue training and response as well. Alarms and public assist. A public assist would be something like we get calls in the summer of a dog being locked in a person's vehicle on a 40-degree day. So they're the type of public service. And this year we started our fire cadet program for the first year, just on 4 weeks ago. There's our contract service area for Red Deer County, which is the 251, I believe, square kilometres, with 19 square kilometres here in town. Our year-to-date was the 383. We're sitting at 405 as of end of October. So we're likely to breach the call total for last year. So agreements are mutual aid agreements, so we rely heavily on the fire service side for partnered agencies. So Red Deer County, Old, Sylvan Lake, the town of Penhold, and City of Red Deer. Our 911 dispatch services is through Red Deer Emergency Services. AFRAX agreements, so Alberta First Responder Radio Communication System, which is a digital system, our current system is managed through Red Deer County. And our record management system is also a shared project within Red Deer County. Municipal enforcement, we have 3 community peace officers. One is designated as senior, and they're responsible for enforcement of municipal bylaws, traffic enforcement, animal control, including the Dangerous Dogs Act, Liquor, Cannabis and Gaming Act, Trespass to Premises Act, and Tobacco Smoking and Vaping Act. Emergency management. So we have a town emergency plan. We also have a regional plan and a regional agreement with our regional partners, which include the City of Red Deer County, Elnora, Delburn, Bowden, Penhold, Sylvan Lake, and Spruce View. We have a regional agreement that supports that. We meet quarterly as part of that regional group. And also try to exercise at least annually as a regional group. Elected official training, you ladies and gentlemen are required to complete that again within 90 days of the election, and we're hopefully looking to schedule that for the 21st of January, all being well. The Emergency Advisory Committee, which we now have 2 new members on, including our Mayor. And training and exercises, again, not only do we need to exercise regionally, we need to also exercise and train locally. We try to schedule at least 1 training session per month for our team, as well as a minimum of 1 tabletop or full-blown exercise a year. Emergency Management Agency, they provide supports to us, such as the Provincial Operations Centre. So in the event of a major incident, we would notify them to say we have a major incident, and the province will come and attend, and their field officers will, as they would say, suggest that they're here to help. So if we have any questions relating to my responsibilities.
Any questions? No? Okay.
We'll go into operational services. So area within the operations is utilities, public works, parks, solid waste management, asset management, engineering and capital, as well as our health and safety program. So this is the organizational chart for my department. Direct reports is our utility foreman, as well as the engineering coordinator, health and safety coordinator, and the operations administrative assistant. Going into utilities, that department has 6 full-time, 1 foreman, 5 operators. If you want to slide down one more, Juanita. Yep. Within that department, so water, wastewater, maintenance and repair, water sampling and testing. We also assist with the regional wastewater lift station operation and monitoring. We do service inspection, repairs, water meter inspection, maintenance and repair, as well as overseeing 1 summer student for that department. Public Works is 13 full-time staff, 1 foreman, 10 operators, and 2 mechanics. Fairly lengthy list of duties they do, from snow clearing, street sanding, road repairs, crack sealing, parking lot maintenance, as well as assisting in the utility digs. We do cemetery graves, fleet maintenance, garbage collection, as well as providing the manpower to support the local events within the community. Parks, We have 5 full-time staff, 1 foreman, 3 operators, and 1 horticulturist. Parks Department looks after trail maintenance, wintertime outdoor rinks. We do Christmas lights and displays, snow clearing of the trails and sidewalks. Summertime is tree maintenance. We do, the horticulturist oversees the plant bed maintenance as well as installation. The ball diamonds, playgrounds, mowing, garbage collection as well. Helipad operations and maintenance is taken within that department. Providing manpower again and support for local events and overseeing our summer student program there as well. Solid waste, this is the management of our solid waste, organics, and recycling contract, strongly overseen by the administrative assistant in the department. She oversees, does the inquiries as well as complaints, maintenance for that department, working closely with our contractor E360, as well as working with, in our communications side, providing education and marketing for that department. Asset management, strongly overseen by our engineering coordinator. This involves the asset inventory, condition rating, providing asset value. We work in this department for the replacement of planning as well as reinvestment strategies for our long term. Engineering and capital, really that's our engineering coordinator and myself, overseeing the management and inspection of capital and operating projects, reviewing development and building permit applications, maintenance and input of our GIS system, as well as overseeing and mentoring of a summer student program, which is this, we've done 2 years now in a row for our summer student program. Health and safety, 1 full-time health and safety coordinator, overseeing the documentation and maintenance of our program, incident tracking, promoting safe work environment in-house, providing in-house training for first aid, basic life safety, advanced first aid, and as well as our chainsaw training program. Overseeing our monthly health and safety meetings and facility inspections, and completing our internal and overseeing the external audit for our program. And that's my department. I'll take any questions anybody might have.
Any questions, anyone? No? Councillor Hill.
Yes, thank you, Mayor Barclay, to Director Kennedy. Just on average, when we talk about like summer students, obviously does it fluctuate, or how many summer students do we, as a organization, do we typically take on?
It's consistent to Councillor Hill, 9 within the Parks Department, 3 within Public Works, 1 for our utilities, and 1 for engineering. So we've been fairly consistent with that. It has, or since I've started, it has dropped. I believe we were up to 16 to 18 when I first started. So we actually have reduced our summer program a bit.
Nice. Thank you.
Anybody else? All right, we can move into community services. So community services includes community development services, so planning, development, and building permitting. Community social services, which is FCSS, the PACE bus, recreation programming, and age-friendly programming. Facilities management, so the arena, the aquatic center, and general facility maintenance, as well as communications and economic development. So you can see that org chart. We have our community economic development officer, and then manager of facilities, communications manager, development services manager, and our community and social development manager, overseeing those various departments. So community development services, so the planning aspect, this is primarily the role of our manager in that department, looking at long-range land use planning and community planning, as well as the land use bylaw, preparing, reviewing, processing updates to various plans. Our municipal development plan was just re-updated and adopted in 2025. We as well have various area structure plans for neighborhoods in the community, as well as a downtown area redevelopment plan that we'll be actually looking at starting a review of hopefully in the latter half of 2026. This department takes subdivision and rezoning applications, administers development agreements. So when we have new neighborhoods taken on by private developers, the administration of the agreements related to the installation of new infrastructure, as well as things like encroachment and deferred servicing agreements. The development portion of this department, primarily the work of the development officer. So development permitting pursuant to the land use bylaw, bringing applications forward to the Municipal Planning Commission, and if necessary, the Subdivision and Development Appeal Board. They process compliance certificates, so these are typically RPRs associated with property sales, so reviewing the compliance of properties with the land use bylaw. Administration of development deposits, so when we have new development permit applications, people submit deposits to ensure that they complete those developments accordingly, and the development officer does all the follow-up on that, as well as working with municipal enforcement on compliance with issues specific to the land use bylaw. The development officer also administers both our facade improvement grant program and our infill incentive program. So two programs we have, the facade improvement to enhance the appearance of commercial buildings throughout the community, and then the infill program is encouraging the redevelopment of existing residential lots. And then we have the building component. So within community development services, we have the development permit is sort of the what you're going to do, and the building permit is how you're going to do it. We contract out our building safety codes officer, Jim Kimmel. He comes here once a week. He's in the office on Wednesdays and does all of our issuance and inspections related to the building code. We then contract out plumbing, gas, electrical, and private water and wastewater to Superior Safety Codes. And then our fire department does the fire inspections related to the Safety Codes Act. Then we have Family and Community Support Services, or FCSS. So we have two, the manager as well as one community programmer focused in this area. They manage and report on the provincially provided FCSS funding, which we get approximately $219,000 from the province each year. We have received word that the next 3 years will be the same amount. This is a matching program that we have to match those funds. Innisfail typically far exceeds our matching component for this service. So they provide community support through direct programming and external grants. We provide external grants to numerous agencies, often the senior center, the school divisions, the library. Some of our other private groups receive funding through FCSS for programming. FCSS services must be preventative in nature. They can't be utilized for leisure, recreation, that sort of thing, or direct supports to families. So they need to be on that educational and preventative side of things. You are disruptive today. So the FCSS committee, again, we had people appointed today, make funding decisions for those external programs. As well, we provide information and referral services here at the office, supporting individuals navigating various systems to access resources. And then with our age-friendly committee in 2024, Innisfail achieved the designation by the province as an age-friendly community. That committee works to identify ways to implement actions identified in our action plan. So I think there's 8 aspects of age-friendly, everything from infrastructure to programming and transportation. And that committee looks at highlighting ways that decisions can be made such that the community is is more age-friendly. So PACE transportation, so the PACE bus program, we provide both on-demand in-town service and then out-of-town charters provided through a contract with Prairie Bus Lines. The town owns 2 vehicles. We have the 14-passenger wheelchair bus, which is the one that you'll see driving around town most often, as well as the van in the picture there, which is a 4 to 6 passenger van that can also accommodate up to 2 wheelchairs. That is typically the one used for the out-of-town visits. Those are primarily into Olds or Red Deer for various medical types of appointments. In-town service runs 7 days a week, Monday to Friday, 9 to 4, Saturdays and Sundays, 9 to 1, $5 a trip. Folks can book online or by phone. The out-of-town service is a $50 round trip with a 2-hour wait time. For Red Deer or Olds, we can do other destinations and we work out costing on that front. Our annual contract is $165,000, which essentially covers the in-town, and then depending on demand, the cost for the out-of-town charters varies. This department also includes recreation and culture programming, so we have one community programmer here working with the Community Services Standing Committee. That committee administers both our community grant program and benefit programs, so grants to various community organizations for events and capital expenditures supporting community. Also our drop-in programming, including those occurring in our joint use facilities. We have volleyball, basketball, pickleball, badminton, climbing, and fitness classes all taking place within the middle school and high school. As well, we have our fee assistance program, so this is folks can access up to $200 annually for recreation programming through the town. That's part of our when Elemental Energy constructed the solar farm north of the golf course, there was a community benefit portion of that agreement where we're allocated $20,000 annually from them. Half of that, so $10,000 goes into the community benefit grant program, $5,000 goes to the fee assistance program, and then $5,000 also goes into environmental education within our schools. So we work with different contractors to bring sort of energy and environmental related programming into the schools. So there's also the community awards gets administered through this group too. So then into facilities. So our facility manager oversees both the arena and the aquatic center as well as facility maintenance. At the arena we have our twin ice surface. The blue ice is in from September to March. Red ice is in October to February. Our primary users being minor hockey, figure skating. The Eagles Thrive is a private youth hockey program, and then a couple of recreational users. Dry surface, lacrosse, baseball, pickleball. Lacrosse by far our largest dry surface user and continues to increase with our minor lacrosse as well as the junior Mavericks. Within the arena, we have various lease agreements. Minor hockey rents an office and storage room. Figure skating also has a storage room, and then the Eagles have their dressing room. The concession within the arena is managed through a lease to minor hockey, which then they sublease the space to a contractor. The aquatic center, so as everyone is well aware, is currently closed for major project. We are still slated for reopening in April of 2026. We have the lane pool, zero entry shallow area, whirlpool steam room, and multi-purpose space, lane swimming, lots of lessons, increasingly homeschool as well as the school divisions, fitness programming and public swim. We have the Dolphins Summer Swim Club, that's a major user from April through July, and then the Cottonwood Kayak Group and the Cyclones Water Polo as well. So facility maintenance, So in addition to the arena and the aquatic center, we have the maintenance of all of our other facilities. So we have our facilities manager and then 2 facility maintenance workers working on asset management and capital planning for facilities. We have the library learning center, the curling rink. So the curling rink is leased out to the curling club. So we don't have direct day-to-day operations within the curling rink. It's primarily run by the club. The Dr. George Kemp House is currently leased out with 3 spaces there. Karen Scarlett has her art studio, Pathways Counseling, as well as the Innisfail Family Day Home rent spaces within that building. We then have our operations and park shop, the fire hall, town office, the senior center is part of our building here, the spray park, and the Centennial Park washrooms. All right, so then moving into communications, we have 2 FTEs there, the manager as well as our digital marketing and digital media specialist. So really handling anything you see that has a town logo on it probably came through communications, as well as our website, mobile app, social media, as well as emergency response communication, working with our emergency management team. And then economic development, so we have 1 FTE there, our EDO, promoting and supporting local businesses, working to understand needs and connect them with various supports that exist for businesses, working on the implementation of our Power of Place strategy. This is also the position that works directly with the CED committee. Participates in various regional collaboration, Central Alberta Tourism, Central Alberta Regional Economic Partnership, and Central Alberta First. As well, they're kind of the point person for our land sales and marketing within the industrial park. So is there any questions before we go into Erica's?
Any questions? I think Director Jenkins, we're at about a 60-40 split on FCSS now, are we?
Pretty
Something
close,
like
I
that?
believe, yes, that we
and then-
well over contribute on that.
Okay, and then just one other information for new councillors. When a developer comes in to do a subdivision, when does that infrastructure revert to the municipality's responsibility?
Yeah, so typically when a private developer comes in and are required to basically doing what we're doing in Napoleon South, installing all the underground, shallow utilities, roads. Once it's complete, typically either our consulting engineers or Director Kennedy and Curtis Hoffman go out and they issue what's called a construction completion certificate. So that basically says that everything was done the way it was supposed to be done. There's then the 2-year maintenance period before the town takes over ownership of that. So it's sort of a warranty period. If the road starts to fall apart in that time frame, the developer's still responsible. The town takes over the snow clearing, that sort of thing. But that's sort of how that process works with private development.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll move on to corporate services. So under here, we have assessment and taxation, all the aspects of finance, including accounts receivable, accounts payable, utility billing, information technology, so all of our IT resources, licensing, specifically animal and business licenses through this one, human resources, and legislative services. So you can see there's my org chart. We do have 2 contracts under there that do kind of report to me, being the human resources contract and the IT contract. And you will note there that the RCMP clerks, we have 3 municipal employees. Sorry, we have 3 municipal positions over there at the RCMP detachment. We have 1 position that's a shared, so it's 1 FTE between 2 people. Okay, and we have the finance manager and the legislative coordinator that also reports directly to me as well. So in there, yes, we have the 1 FTE for the finance manager, 3 FTEs for the RCMP clerk. So again, that front counter is that shared position. So it's 2 part-times, but only 1 FTE. We have a full-time legislative coordinator, a full-time receptionist, and 4 finance clerks. You will note that the licensing and permitting clerk is a brand-new position. It was approved last year in budget, and it actually closes today for the position. So hopefully within the next couple of weeks, by the end of this month, we should actually have a new person in the office here. So under that, we do have 2 external contracts. So the first one is Activate HR, and this company helps us through all of our HR issues that we have. If we had any complaints, this person would deal with it. They deal with all of our hiring, they check all of our reference checks, they do all of our salary surveys, things like that we have to deal with. And IT services, so we do contract out for Real IT Solutions based out of Innisfail. They've been doing our IT work for many years. You already met Ken Yeoman a week ago or so when you came in to collect all of your stuff. So he does manage all of our IT for us. So under finance, so really it's the oversight of all of our town's financial services, financial planning, budgeting, and reporting functions. We do prepare financial reports for council as well as other administrative staff. Again, from the budget policy, we will be bringing quarterly financials before council to review. We do have to prepare and present the operating and capital budget to council annually. Then starting in the new year, we immediately get into our year end. So we spend about 3 months or so going through all of our documentation in preparation for our auditors to bring back an audit for you. We manage all cash receipting, so every single dollar that comes into this building flows through that front computer there. Accounts payable, accounts receivable, cemetery management comes out of this part, at least the financial side of it, right? So when someone needs to purchase a plot or any part of their journey through the cemetery, they're coming to us, and then we coordinate with the park staff for the application of it. The bylaw ticket, again, this is just the financial administration side, so when bylaw tickets get written, they get presented to us by the peace officers, and then we enter that into the system so that we can take payments. Project costing, animal licenses and business licenses, any general ledger functions. We also do the administration of our bank reconciliations. Again, we have multiple banks accounts that we reconcile monthly. We also manage reserves, debt, and all our investments. We do our grant funding through this, all of our grant applications, specifically the big ones, LGFF and CCBF. We do that through the finance side. Maintenance of our financial systems, as well as making sure that all of our financing, payroll complies with any provincial legislation and also the standard financial accountings. Through assessment and taxation, this is a really big one, so we put it on its own slide. So we do oversee the town's annual property assessment and taxation functions. We do coordinate annually with our contracted assessors, which is Wild Rose Assessment Services. And through them, they make sure that we are compliant with all provincial legislation. We do present the annual tax rate bylaw, as well as any special tax bylaws or any local improvement levies. We do the issuance and administration of property tax bills. So the last couple of years has been the first year that we've actually been able to do e-billing for your tax notices. So we are starting to include that in our we kind of do it every quarterly. We really kind of focus heavily 4 times a year on our e-billing, really getting the public to kind of sign up for e-billing either through utilities, and now we're including that in taxes. We have to process and remit any education and other requisition payments. We do have the 2 school requisitions, we have the seniors housing requisition, and then we have a designated industrial property requisition that we do deal with. The big thing is responding to property owner inquiries and complaints, as well as assessment appeals. So every year when we submit our tax rate bylaw, there's an appeal period that allows residents or property owners who are unhappy with their assessment a way to, or a pathway to kind of have some discussion and see if changes can be made. And then from that also comes dealing with tax penalties and non-payment and that whole process of non-payment of taxes. Utilities, so this is administration of the water, sewer, and utility accounts. So coordination of meter reads and billing cycles. We have our utilities clerk works very close in conjunction with utility department to help manage and distribute the bills. Again, like I said before, we are heavily focused on e-billing as a way to lessen our paper products. As we know, through the last couple of strikes we've had through Canada Post, it can be quite a struggle when we're trying to send out 2,000 utility bills a month, and then the Canada Post isn't kind of working, right? Processing of payments, penalties, and adjustments. So this is a pretty heavy administrative position, right? This, unlike taxes, that's only once a year. They go through this whole cycle once a month. And we do monitor of consumption and reporting. We do have a program that's a leak detector report. So as a kind of a thing that we do for the public when they appear on our leak detector report, which means that you've had water running through your water meter for 24 consecutive hours. So that means you have a drip, you have a leak, you've left a tap on, or something like that. It kind of triggers a little note for us, and then we reach out to as best we can to kind of let you guys know, hey, you guys appeared on our leak detector report. You maybe want to think about calling a plumber or going through and checking through your stuff. That's not something that we do mandatory, but through our new water meters, that's kind of an add-on that we're able to do for the public. We deal with the rates, the utility rates each year and updating those. We do have a water rebate program that's relatively new as a way to encourage residents to opt for things that can help conserve their water consumption throughout the year. And again, it's a big, heavy issue for customer inquiries. It's a big, every day they're getting tons of inquiries and stuff like that. So information technology, so again, part of that is coordination and oversight of our contracted IT service provider. And through our IT provider, they manage all of the network infrastructure, servers, and system access. They maintain and support of any of our systems, including Office 365, things like that. He comes around and does any of our system updates, upgrades, and integrations on all of our computers annually. We do manage our cybersecurity, and we do watch that. We have data protection and threat protection that we pay for every single email account that we have. Administration of data, backup, recovery, and storage process. So we actually do a backup every day. We have things that we switch out our backup every day, and we have it saved in the vault so that if anything were to happen, we're kind of only losing 1 day of service that we may have to go through. Support for our municipal website, GIS, and digital service platforms, as well as all the hardware and software life cycle management, right? So when the Surface Pros or our laptops are due to be upgraded and maintained, they come in and do that. Human resources, so again, we do have that contracted HR consultant, and we in turn here locally do full administration of payroll services, employee benefits, as well as all of our pension programs. We do the recruitment, onboarding, and offboarding coordination of potential employees. We do maintain employee records in our vault, as well as the HRIS MyWay system, so that is our timesheet system. We provide support for staff training, development, and performance management, guidance on employee retention, engagement, and organizational culture, and then coordination of compensation reviews and market surveys. So that comes big near budget time, where we're looking into the community, not this community, so other communities, to see how they're treating their staff as well. And lastly, legislative services. So this is basically the maintenance of town's bylaws and policies, as well as the management of our corporate records and retention schedules. All of our, I realize it's not called FOIP, so I'm not sure what the new acronym is going to be called, but effectively it's FOIP. So tracking all of those information requests and all compliance requirements. We do monitor legislative and regulatory changes affecting different municipal operations. And as everyone here is full aware, we did process and do the coordination and delivery of the municipal election. Yeah, and we provide administrative and legislative support to any internal departments should they need it. So I'll take any questions anyone has.
Okay, thank you, Director Vickers. Any questions? Do you know off the top of your head what the split is in e-billing and mailing?
So for utilities, let's say it's about 3,400 utility bills. We still print about around 2,000.
I was today years old when I found out a stamp is $1.32.
Mm-hmm. We don't pay that rate. We have,
okay,
because
right.
we have our postage machine in here, and we have it set up so our utility bills print off by postal code.
Okay.
And because of that, we're at a lower rate than that. So
Okay.
And taxes were low. It's only about 150 or so, but
Okay.
we've only had 1 year doing it, so we're going to beef up the kind of e-billing on that this year to try and gain. It'll be slow moving, probably only a couple hundred a year, but.
I think the more strikes there are, the more people that hopefully would come
Well,
in and
and
sign up.
with the 2 strikes, then
Yeah.
people might be looking to sign up a little
Yeah,
bit better,
for sure.
so.
Steel Becker.
Mayor Barkley, in closing, if there's any other questions onto SLT. So you're getting an overview of services, the management of the services from the directors and their teams. It's a good tie into, although operational and administrative in nature today, it does tie into your 2026 budgets and services on level service. Do you want to increase services? Do you want to maintain services? Or do you want to lower services? And that's the conversation we'll likely have with you as we move into the budget. And you certainly can question administration moving into the budget on what level of service do we provide. So that's one area of council's influence, is basically what level of service do you want to provide. Some are mandated, legislative, especially more on the emergency management side of things, but there's areas of areas you may want to consider on services. And the heliport is one good example. Is council decided, I think a term or 2 ago, that the heliport was a services that the community should be provided, and council made that investment. So the increase, like it's a tricky one because it was getting the services back up to a respectful level that council expected at that time. So that investment was made, but something to consider as you get into the 2026 budget deliberations.
All right, thank you, everybody. Just have a motion then, please, that we accept this as information. Councillor Strong.
Mayor Barkley, I make the motion that council accept the 2025 department overview as information.
All right, all in favor? Carried. And then we'll just go into correspondence. I think we just have the one from the library. Just have somebody accept that as information. Councillor Wing.
Mayor Barkley, I move to accept the correspondence for information.
Okay, anybody have any questions about the library minutes? All in favor? Carried. And then we can go through council reports if anybody has one. Councillor Wing? I do not. Okay, Councillor Strong? Councillor Hill?
I do not.
Councillor McKellar?
I do not as well.
Okay, Councillor Russell? Okay, and Councillor Heistad?
We're good.
Okay, I'm good too. We'll get them into Juanita by sometime, Thursday or so. Okay, I'll just have a look at the upcoming events then. And I'll have somebody please move the upcoming
Mayor
event.
Barkley,
Sorry.
can I just highlight that if you were appointed to MPC, there is an MPC
Yes,
meeting tomorrow afternoon?
Yes. Yeah, does everybody know that, like that's been appointed? Okay.
So I'm not available, but you're the
Okay.
alternate. Are you available?
I can be.
Okay, thank you. That was one of the things, before we make the motion, I just have a couple of other meetings that aren't on here that are important.
Okay.
November the 27th, we had talked last week about that being the Cape Annual General Meeting in Rocky Mountain House. It's also the same day as the Parkland Library Board meeting, so Lyle's going to Lacombe and Chris is going to Drumheller for RDR Mug that day, so you're not going to Drumheller, or you're not going to Rocky Mountain. Anyways, so so the 27th, Juanita, is Parkland Library and RDR Mug. And then the Water Commission is not meeting this week, but there was a placeholder, but they are meeting further on down the line, so thanks. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that, Councillor Wing. Councillor Russell.
Just curious, with the council committees, will we be receiving calendar invites like we do for the meetings, or are we expected to put those ourselves? So they'll come from the CAO's
Yeah,
office?
they will come from, for MPC, they come out from Allison McDonald, and then some will come from Juanita, internal committees. The external committees, they typically come as calendar invites, although I won't always guarantee that. I know like SRD, I get that, but I'm not sure about Water Commission and stuff, so
Okay.
hopefully everybody's kind of on that train, because it certainly helps, that's for sure. And what I'd like to do, we'll get past this week, next week, and then probably meet with each of you one-on-one and kind of go over some the committees, just especially for new councillors, and give you a bit of an overview on what's expected and stuff like that, so you're comfortable going in. But yeah, tomorrow, right off the hop, MPC meeting, but that's good. Anyway, we motion?
Sure, I'll make the motion to accept that for information.
Okay, thank you. All in favor? Carried. And then we'll have a call for adjournment, please. Councillor Hill.
Mayor Barkley, I make a motion that we adjourn this meeting.
All right, 5 o'clock. All in favor?